Hey guys! So what did you guys do for Memorial Weekend? Well, we had a great weekend, my family and I. Really, this video was just to talk about reason my husband and I, we do not party anymore. Just no fun to do it anymore. So Memorial Weekend was great for the fact that my daughter graduated from kindergarten. My middle daughter, she received an award in mathematics. And after the graduation, the award ceremony for my middle daughter was earlier that morning. So after the graduation, we went to eat, and Saturday we held a graduation party for my daughter. So it was really fun. Friends and family came out. My daughter had a good time.
Yeah.
And then after that, Sunday rolls around and it is Atlanta Caribbean Carnival weekend. So we decided to go to a party downtown, Atlanta Caribbean party. And normally we don't party, but actually my cousin was here from the UK and I wanted to hang out with him. So we were supposed to go to another party. And we said, oh, okay. My friend asked me, well, come to this other party first. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool, we'll do that. So we get to that first party and my husband and I, we haven't been to a party in a very long time. Restaurants, lounges, yeah, but club party vibes, no, very long time. So we get there and I guess you kind of lose tolerance for certain things because you haven't done it in so long, so you're just not used to it. You're in a different space now. So we get to the party, the line is like wrapped around the block, very disorganized. We get to the front of the line because my friend ends up cutting the line. So, she asked these dudes though, like, can I, get in front of you and me and my friends and I, and the guys were just like, yeah, whatever. So we ended up being able to skip the line, go ahead of some people. We get to the front. So there's one line for cards, there's one line for cash, and then there's the lines for who has the tickets. So we go to the line for cards because my husband and I, we gonna use the card, and the lady is like, oh, you can use Apple Pay. So we're like, how do we use the Apple Pay? My husband doesn't have that on his phone. I have it on mine. So I was trying to figure out how to use it. And my friend is like, oh, but I have to go over there because I have cash. She's trying to go to the cash line. So the girls are telling her, no, you can pay here, or even let your friend pay for you and give her back the money. So it was only $10 to get in. So I'm not really thinking about $10. I'm just like, okay, well, how many tickets to get? So while we're trying to figure this out, the lady pushes my phone and she's like, can you move your phone, please? And some other people needed to pay. Of course, I get it. You cannot hold up the line. It's inconvenience to other people. But my thing was just like, you don't push people, don't push my hand, don't do stuff like that. So I started complaining about that. And another girl comes over and she's really polite. And she's just like, oh, sorry about that, but you're fine, you're good. And she's trying to help me sort it out because she could see I'm upset and I'm confused at this point. So she's helping me do it on the Apple Pay. And then another girl behind the booth is like, oh, no, you paid already. I'm like, no, I didn't pay anybody. She's like, oh, you paid cash. I'm like, no. So I'm trying to ask my friend now, did you pay cash? Because she was the only one that had cash. And she's like, yeah, I paid for me. So you only paid for yourself. So I'm trying to pay for myself. And the girl keeps saying, oh, she paid for you. And I'm like, you paid for me? I'm asking my friend. So finally she's like, oh, well, she paid twice. That's on her. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Because she didn't pay for me. So we get past that hurdle. We go inside, we get a bottle of the rum punch, and I'm sharing it out amongst my friend, my husband, and I. And so now, we in the party now, we vibing, reggae, soca, dance hall. And I hear my husband talking to somebody, so I just assume he ran into one of his coworkers because that's not unusual. So I turn around and I look, and I just turn back around. But then I think the conversation is just going on a little too long, and I just know him to say like, oh, what's up? And, that's it. So I turn back around because they're still talking, and I'm like, okay, this is strange. So I turn around, and I realize it's not like a friendly conversation. So my interest is a little piqued as to what's going on. So I realize now they're arguing, but the person isn't all black. I'm not even realizing who the person is. I'm just kind of like, who would he be arguing with? So I'm like, what's going on? He's like, oh, he's telling me to move. He want me to move up. But the party was packed. The venue was not that big. The line was around the corner. So which means the people who's already inside, like, it's packed. Where do you want us to go? So I'm like, where do you want him to go? So he's like, oh, I'm telling everybody to move up. It ain't that hard, man. It ain't that hard. Flinging off his hat. I'm like, this how you conduct yourself as security? So I'm like, but where do you want us to go? So my husband is like, you have to clear out the front first, then the people can move up, but people can't move up with people there. It's a fire hazard to be right here. That's what the security is saying. So I'm like, don't argue with him. So I'm telling my husband, like, don't argue with him, let it go. So at this point, I'm ready to go because the security was just in my point. He was exacerbating the situation because all you had to do was just use common sense, tell the people in the front, can you move up, and gradually move people up. So to me, when you're hiring people to work your venue, people have to have manners. People have to be able to think strategically, because here's my thing. If we move up, you're bringing more people in. Don't you think they're going to fill in that empty space right there? Because people are going to go where they see space. Then the next thing is, for you to be security carrying on like that, don't you think you're going to give directions doing crowd control? People are not going to listen to you. There's music, there's alcohol in people. No one's really going to be following directions. So you can't get worked up like that. If you're not cut out for a position, don't take it. Don't volunteer to do it. And then you want to huff and puff up and still you're not scaring anybody. Just relax yourself. So at that point, I was just like, I'm ready to go. So my friend was like, yeah, my feet hurt. I'm going to go with y'all. So we were only in there for an hour. So in the car, my husband and I was just saying, like, you see, this is why we don't go out. This doesn't make any sense. Go out, like, as in party, doesn't make any sense. So I was like, yeah, we have a lounge. Not a lounge, I'm sorry. We have a game room downstairs. So we have a flex room. We turned it into a game room. I have a hookah. We have wine and things like that in a little wine rack that I have in the kitchen area. So I'm like, we could just do this at home, which we did on Monday. We made some jerk chicken on the grill. I cleaned it, seasoned it up. My husband put it on the grill. It was delicious. It wasn't dry out, nothing. It was nice and moist. And then, you know, we made regular barbecue for the kids and hamburgers, hot dogs. We had a good time home as a family. So I was like, yeah, it's pretty much going to be a wrap for that. I like being in the comfort of my home, not to deal with anyone's disrespect, especially when I'm spending my money. Like, you know, I don't want to have to deal with that. And that's going to be pretty much it for us.
Mommy,
Yes?
I want a flower, but I can't find it. Maybe.